men need to, quote, grow the hell up. Tell me why.
Well, because there's nothing uglier than an old infant. There's nothing good about it.
See, the first thing that I'm going to mention over here, which you are going to see throughout this debate or discussion, is that Jordan Peterson is not going to answer anything without thinking. So, listen to this part again.
Jordan Peterson, you've said that men need to, quote, grow the hell up. Tell me why.
See, there's a significant amount of gap. Let's just calculate how long it was. I think it was 1 to 2 seconds.
Quote, grow the hell up. Tell me why.
Well, because there's nothing.
2 seconds. All right. So it's not a lot of time, but most of you guys are not going to do even that much. Just get head first into the question as if it is your obligation to answer immediately after the question is asked.
Uglier than an old infant. There's nothing good about it. People who don't grow up don't find this sort of meaning in their life that sustains them through difficult times, and they are certain to encounter difficult times.
Again, it's just a common thing that I've talked about when we were discussing David Goggins as well. There are no connectors. He's never going to say he's never going to say he's never going to say These are the things that we just fill in the gaps with just because we are not comfortable with that. And you know what? The audience is not comfortable with that either. Connectors are the best way to remove the attention of the audience from yourself. If you want to do that, use connectors all you want. But if not, if you want to sustain the attention of the audience, hold it with the grip of your arms, then you are going to avoid connectors at any cost. And that's why you're not going to see Jordan Peterson using connectors. I'm saying it again. The best people on this planet, your idols, all of them are great speakers. It's not possible to be at any kind of pinnacle of your career without being a great speaker, because as humans, that's what we do. We communicate all day throughout our professional career as well, for obvious reasons. And if you communicate so much, if you negotiate so much, if you're not good at speaking, how the hell are you so good at your career? So everyone who is great at what they do are going to be great at speaking. Some of you guys commented in the last one, oh, some people just are directors, they are just writers, they are great, but they are not good speakers. Well, they are good at speaking when they have to be. They are going to negotiate their position, they are going to negotiate the contract, they are going to negotiate the deals, the sponsors, and when they do, they are great speakers. So understand that if you want to be great at anything, you have to be great at speaking, and learn from anyone who's great at anything, because they are going to be great at speaking. So here we go.
They're left bitter and resentful and without purpose.
So you say, I mean, that sounds pretty bad. You're saying there's a crisis of masculinity? I mean, what do you do about it?
Again, you see the pause that he takes every time he has to answer a question. She asks the question, he's taking a proper 2-second pause.
I mean, that sounds pretty bad. You're saying there's a crisis of masculinity? I mean, what do you do about it?
You tell...
Again, a solid 2-second gap. He's taking more gap than most of you guys would have. Or whatever comes first, let's say that. That's where you make a mistake. You make a mistake in your first step, and then you are bound to fail and go spirally in a downward direction after that, because you know you have made a mistake. You know you started wrong. So first of all, you will have to manipulate a lot and backstep a lot to get to the right track. And by then you have lost all the momentum. So it's a terrible start. It's not going to end very well, at least not as well as it could have if you took those 2 seconds of gap, structured it well, listened to the question properly, and answered the question. That's the thing. A lot of you guys who answer immediately, go for a reply immediately, you're mostly saying what was going in your head. You never listen to what the person in front of you asked. So for those reasons, the gaps are important. Those gaps are for you. You're thinking. Nobody is expecting an answer right away. There's no obligation like that. So it's like a chess move. You have to think what you're going to do next.
You help people understand why it's necessary and important for them to grow up and adopt responsibility. Why that isn't a shake your finger and get your act together sort of thing, I'm saying. But what I've been telling young men is that there's an actual reason why they...
See, one thing that I want you to know is that I've had this problem with a lot of my students as well. that when I explain how dangerous or detrimental a connector or set of connectors can be for anything that you are saying, when they understand the proper reason for it, they are so afraid of any connector at all, which is good to some extent. It's bad when it turns into fear of fear, and then they're just terrified of saying anything. See, even Jordan Peterson over here is using connectors every now and then. I heard an arm just now. So it's fine. Connector is a very inherent property of any human being, and every now and then you are going to see the best of the best speakers using connectors. It's kind of unescapable. It's just a pursuit for us to minimize it as much as possible. We should work hard to minimize it as much as possible, drop it by 90%, but that last 10% or 5% is going to be over there. All right, I don't think that anybody can 100% eliminate it. Don't be too terrified, but yes, work extremely hard. Don't shoot for perfection, but shoot for the best that you can do. What I tell my students all the time is that every time when you're speaking, in the background a task should be playing that, am I using connectors? If I am, I'm going to restrain myself. The next sentence that I say, there should be no connectors. There should be a background software running continuously which corrects you all the time and make sure that you're not using connectors. But every now and then in 10 minutes you use 2 connectors. You should not be super pissed off on yourself. I don't think anybody can eliminate connectors 100%. Now